Seconds to talk about who you are and what you're doing here. And
Thank you. Thank you. I am Mark Seipel with Montag Manufacturing, and Montag makes a dry product delivery system from fertilizer, cover crop seed, basically any dry product we can move as long as it's pelletized. We can't do a granular, we can do granular, but we can't do powder.
Yeah.
like a powder gypsum or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's gotta be pelletized. But anyway, we can blow, deliver to the road, real accurate a prescription. You can lay out a prescription for your field and say, I want this many pounds of P on this acre and that many pounds of K or whatever nutrient you want to put on, and you can get that exact amount right under the plant. So you're actually putting the plant food right where it needs to be.
Exactly.
Where the
Or the
roots are gonna
prescription.
go. Yeah.
Correct.
Mark, I see you have a unit right here. Do you mind
Yes.
taking us over there quick and just showing us some of the
Mark, I'm
features?
gonna hand you my probes. Your folks back home can hear you a whole lot better.
Oh, hey.
Because they don't want to hear me, they want to hear you.
I love this in my candle here. This is cool. Well, actually, this is a Yetter strip freshener, which one of my dealers over in Richland, Iowa, brought over, and it's got a Montag, a 9-ton, 16-row dual. It's got 2 sections, so we can shut off half of the rows with it and just keep the other half going. But we can carry 9 ton of product in there. And we can go from basically 50 pounds up to 800 pounds an acre by a prescription, having it in your variable rate technology type system, have it mapped out.
Mark, this interests me here. Is this some type of manifold that segregates it down into these tubes?
It is.
And this is all airflow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the air actually is coming from this blower up front here. So that's a hydraulic driven motor that is blowing the air, and then it goes across a channel inside here that is feeding air to each one of these modules underneath here, which is fed by an auger, and that auger is run hydraulically too. So that is what allows you to get the right prescription in the right amount of nutrients in the right place. But yeah, this is the guts of it. This is just the tank to hold it on. But it's using air. Montag has several patents on the delivery system, and it's the accuracy of their delivery system that's really set them apart from other dry product delivery systems on the market. And actually, I've known Roger Montag for a number of years, and they built a real good family-owned business in northern Iowa, Emmitsburg, Iowa, using this technology. Been selling all over the world. It's really amazing what a little company in Emmitsburg, Iowa is doing to help farmers get the right nutrient at the right place
At the right time.
at the right time.
Well, look, Mark,
Yeah.
we really appreciate you. Thank you for
Well,
taking
good
the
to see
time.
you guys.
Thank you for participating. Your
Well,
sponsorship and your
yeah,
input here
you
is
bet.
You're gonna have
awesome.
plenty of people that are getting their mouth full
Bring 'em
right
up.
now to come see you.
Bring
So,
them over. You
all right.
bet.
Well, look, Mark, I can't go without doing this. I don't want them not to know who you are. So,
Oh, thank you.
you have a good day. Thank you
Hey,
for being here.
You bet. Hey, good to see you guys.
Well, that is just so cool to see where technology has taken us. I feel like the planners are getting better and better and better, and they're starting to mesh technologies from one piece to the next, creating something really solid.
You know, the cool thing here is, we keep talking about this topsoil tool and data and how they all work together and measuring it, scaling it, quick response from that data. And so, you heard him talking about prescriptions, right timing, right placement. Again, taking that data that we can use with that topsoil tool and really deliver it and send it home. Whether that's to the seed company, fertilizer spreader that's going to bring out the mix, the guy operating the machine, or even back at the office. That topsoil tool allows everybody have their own login and be able to scale that. So you see what got done, when it got done, and take notes. So
I was thinking what Zach just said about scaling the farm and how important it is for him to learn on whatever it is that he's implementing. And I think that's true of every farm, right? And
Yeah.
so that topsoil tool, I think, helps to really bring home all the information into one spot so that,
Right.
so that the farmer and their agronomist or consultant can really turn that into something that's usable.
And not that, we forget what books are. And, insomnia has really, really been cured by getting those big fertility books. And you're sitting down there going through 75 pages of one field.
What's the carbon footprint of a fertility book?
Right. Yeah, we're not wasting anything here. Anyways, we've always thought that using tillage tools or buying steel was just building roads. I got a guy here that we need to talk to. Really good dude. Got a face only a mother can love, and he's got an amazing wife. I don't know, maybe they don't have vision insurance yet, but
When
she
I
is a
say the
beautiful
better half,
lady.
I mean the better quarter.
Better quarter. Well,
Size-wise.
Let's hear your name and where you're from, sir.
Lawrence Donlegay, Flolo Farms, here representing Dawn Underground Ag today. And kind of feel like we're on the topsoil marathon here. So
I agree.
sitting here, fund your soil is 1-800. Please send donations.
They're equal opportunity. They let me be on here. I'm gonna let you have this probe, like a trophy.
You're giving me your probe.
I'm just gonna let that be.
Just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
We're getting pretty close. But anyways, let's see your tool.
There we go. Now we're talking. That's what she said. Here we have the underground or Ag's in-row roller. It's kind of something we've been working on since about 2016. What we're doing here, we've taken roll crimping to the next level. We have knives on here that actually can cut. Or if you want, you just unbolt the knives and you got the traditional square edge. But if you want to jump around to this side, this is set up for in-roll action. So your row of crop would be right here. We either early in the season, we'll flip the wings this way to funnel the cover crop into the rollers. Later in the season, as your crop gets bigger, you would flip them around so it actually funnels the crop in between the roller and you don't hurt the crop.
So you don't actually have to buy new parts. You're just repurposing or repositioning.
Yeah, you just flip flop them around, makes it more adaptable. I told a guy earlier this morning, my goal is my personal machine like this is going to be a 3-season tool. We're going to run it early in season, take cover crop or that, manage cover crop separate early in the season. Summertime, we'll go in and do the in crop work. But then when, later in the season, if we want to broadcast cover crop seed or something ahead of it, then we actually get just with the knives on there, we'll get just enough shattering action of the stalks and the residue to get that soil to seed contact that I believe is so critical in the cover crops. That's going to be one of the things we showcase this year. We had robots seeding in our field last year. All the guys that say soil to seed contact don't matter. Come on up. I mean, when you broadcast and incorporate at the same time, you can really see the difference this year. So any other questions you got on this tool?
I do. I have a question. So this is kind of interesting. The knife on here. What
It gives you
what was the purpose of adding that to the mix?
It gives you versatility in managing different styles of cover crop. I think I showed you the video earlier this morning. We were actually cutting ryegrass, which traditionally would not take a roller. And some of that comes from the suppression mindset that we've employed here the last several years. We don't generally need to kill cover crop. We just need to manage it and suppress it to where it's actually, we can control it without chemicals and herbicide. It's just another tool in the toolbox is what we're going for here. So
Sure. So you mentioned, I think timing becomes also a challenge in managing residue, managing, doing your spring cover kill or whatever. So does this kind of widen our range too with this knife? Because
when you do get weeds and stuff like that get away, even water hemp, you can take out water hemp with this, because you're not only crimping it, but you can cut off that growing point and stuff like that. So, 1 or 2 times of regrowing, you should be able to lay it back where it's ineffective. It'll shade out. It's a lot of stuff coming together that we've learned managing the interseed and all that over the years. So,
very cool.
but if you want to jump over to this side.
Yeah, let's go take a look at this.
This is the Bob Brecker rendition of the non-dual seed underground from underground ag. But this was originally designed as a simple, low-cost option. You can bolt on any 7x7 or 4x7, 4x4 bar. You just need to adjust the holes here. You got screw adjust depth, very simple. The whole goal is here to, just get that soil to seed contact.
So Lauren, I had the opportunity to meet a gentleman a second ago, and we've actually talked to this gentleman, but I was like, what is your thoughts? Because we're always talking about tools in the shed. Okay. They always change year to year, maybe timing of year. We know ROI, return on investment, is going to be passes. We're not so worried as much about compaction. Now we do have wet years where it can be an issue, but with living roots, it's less of an issue. And so, we're not really getting the deep detail here, but you're able to get through there 3 times within the growing season to manage it. So I'm going to go over and interview this guy, and we're going to talk about your tool.
How about it?
All right, guys. Well, I pulled him aside. I thought I was going to have to buy his lunch, which we already had for him. But anyways, I talked him into talking, so I'm going to let him introduce himself, where he's from.
Well, we haven't got past happy.
Well, we're not there yet. Everything's in stages, remember?
Roger Elmore, Laverick, Iowa.
All right, so let's turn around here and look at this. What was your first thoughts? We talked about a second ago about your different things you're doing on your farm, the context of your operation.
Well, when Laura and I were standing up there listening to those guys talk, we were kind of talking on the side. And he was telling me about his patterns of what they're doing here with the Dawn strip roller. And I don't know, it kind of fascinated me because I just bought a roller, but that means another trip. But with this, you could do it all at once. And I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because riding in a tractor doesn't appeal to me like when I was 18.
Right. The first day of planting season's the fun day, kind of, when things work right. But again, just wanted to get your thoughts on this. Really appreciate you giving your thoughts, and being at these shows in person again is awesome. But also being able to come out and just talk about what we're doing, different operational things, because again, it got me thinking, got us thinking, and as we get like-minded, being we go about things differently, or maybe when we run that pass. But we can see how we can utilize the success and failures of our operations.
And especially Lauren said that they're going to work on a deal that you can put this in front of the tractor, so that would be even better yet. So
What would that do for you, Roger? Like what would that step do for your individual?
it saves me a trip.
So that's fuel, that's time, that's efficiency.
Right. That's whether I go to a baseball game or softball game with my kids. So
Yeah.
to me, that's what's important.
And then the unthinkable is like maybe biology is going to keep on working, keep pumping that carbon in the soil or something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's that's why we want to get the most. It's like they said in the meeting today. Rick said we want to get the most out of the cover crop. Instead of just letting it get a foot tall. Get the most good.
Well, Roger, thank you for allowing me to put you on the spot, bud.
Yeah,
No
great,
problem.
great to meet you. Thanks for sharing.
I'm sure we'll have extras, so make sure you get by there.
So these tools look just absolutely amazing.
They are. So I'm going to give you this really cool mic.
Yep.
And you tell us again who you guys are.
Sure.
And we're glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Michael Lott. I'm the CEO of Rantizo. We're a drone spraying company based in Iowa City. We sell a turnkey service. You can see a sprayer drone, and a trailer. And this is everything that you need to legally and safely spray and apply in a field.
Wow.
So we've got everything that's required: permitting, insurance, training, support, etc. Rantizo is actually one. So today you'll see a flat. On 2 at a time today, you can go up to 3. And so you get really precise application in the field with scale.
Okay.
Best of all worlds.
So how do these machines know what to do?
Sure. So you map out your field. So we can get a shape file from basically any imagery
Topsoil.
company.
Topsoil, man.
Topsoil, great. Yeah. Topsoil gives us a shape file, and we need to go to 32 of these 80 acres. We need to hit them with some micronutrients. Okay, we'll map that out. We'll go precisely, we'll fly there, cover those 32 acres and not the other 48. So your whole field cost to treat is going to be lower in pretty much every instance.
We like to increase ROIs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's all about that. So like, what's the benefit to the farmer in terms of profit per acre? So everyone gets into like, well, what's your application cost? What's this and this? Like, think about your field cost. That's the thing that truly matters. Because when you start improving those small areas, like you're doing with a site-specific application, we can be much more efficient in terms of profit.
Right.
So let's talk about this trailer rig. So last year I really liked it. And again, just, utilizing, again, every section of what you guys are doing.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about the platform.
Yep. So we fly with line of sight. You've got to be able to see the drone. So the drones fly themselves. They're autonomous. We map out where they're going to go, but the drone will actually fly to where it's going to be, drop down to the proper place, and then fly right there. And then with the platform, you can actually increase your view for line of sight, so you can see further out in the field. And then later in the season, it's great when you get to 2 months from now, 7-8 foot tall corn. You need that platform so you can see where the drone is flying through the air.
So where's the diving board when you back up to a pond somewhere? Just jump off the top.
Well, you just leave the front down.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've seen units like this in the infield of NASCAR races too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
So this trailer has everything that you need. So it's got a generator, water tank, battery storage, charging system. Everything's plumbed in properly, so you can store 3 drones, everything you need for a full day of flying. And you're all set and ready to go.
Michael, that's incredible. I mean, to be able to provide a turnkey type of a setup. Talk to me about how somebody that is here today, this audience, the cover croppers,
Yep.
the regenerative farms, the transitioning farms. How do these tools work there?
Sure. So people that do math realize you can treat an edge of your field, a portion of your field, much more efficiently than treating the whole thing. If you want to drop cover crop seeds right on the edges, right around a waterway that's really curvy, we can follow that super precisely.
Pollinators, buffer strips.
All of that. It's perfect for us. The harder the application is, the better we are. It's a flat, dry field. Go run a tractor there. You own that. It's better and more efficient for doing big, flat areas. We're the weed whacker that comes around the edges, and we're super precise. Or if you're in your big field and you want to do a portion of it, we'll hit just those areas, not everything else.
Very good. Can you show us? You said this is the dry heat, correct? So if I were to need to apply some dry fertilizer, that would go into here or seed.
Yeah,
Is that
so yeah,
correct?
we'll show you the seed right there. We're going to do that this afternoon.
Okay.
So we're actually doing an application today at the after party.
Okay.
So this is a seed mix that we're weighing out. We're going to get it precisely dialed in. So we'll be at what width do you think we'll go, Adam?
With this, I'm thinking we're probably gonna be in that 12 to 14
Sure.
foot range.
So we can tailor everything that you need. So it'll be 12 to 14 foot swath with this. That's how far it's going to spread out. We're going to do a 35-pound rate. And because we've got 53 contractors all across the country, we know all the settings that everyone has done. So when we get a new thing, like, oh, what's this seed mix? Oh, we haven't done that exact one. But we get 90% there the first time, and then we refine and get better. So we've got that nationwide network of people that we can depend on to get us good settings. So we'll drop this out. This one will be at 35 pounds, 12 to 14 foot swath width. We could do 5 pounds, we could do 60 pounds, we could do 5 feet, we could do 20 feet. So anything in between there, we can change that and go exactly what that field needs.
So the networking piece is really interesting. So what's becoming very, very popular is these, multi-species covers applied simultaneously. And I was just looking here. I mean, you obviously have numerous, items
We
in
have the
here.
mix on the side there.
Yeah, the
Right.
mix is down here. Unfortunately, it's upside down.
So the density of would vary greatly depending on your seed size,
Oh,
spread,
absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So that could potentially affect that. So this network you're building allows you to kind of look into see what other people have done and set up some SOPs more or less for these
Exactly.
different. Okay.
So our whole goal is automation of processes. So we've got autonomous flight, we've got an autonomous loading system that's on the right there inside the trailer. So it'll automatically reload the liquids when they fly in.
I think we shouldn't give away all the secrets yet.
I'm so excited. I'm so interested.
I want to put this guy. So I'm gonna let you introduce this time.
Hey, it's the apple.
Matt Garber.
I'm gonna give you the famous mic.
Nice, Soil Pro.
Yeah, so we're
It's a
using the Soil Pro
microphone.
for our mic, but what we were interested is what do you have here and how does it apply to this conversation that we're having today?
Absolutely. We have a system that may be mounted on a tractor or a self-propelled sprayer. We have it here on the UTV as an example. We're going to do a demo
That's
here today.
this right here?
Yes, it is. It's
Okay.
a white device there with multiple cameras in it. And this is a plug and play variable rate nitrogen, and then is applicable in some areas, plant growth regulators for cotton in particular. There are a few other crops that use plant growth regulators too, but cotton is what we're really targeted at for most of the US. And then also defoliants. And that could be defoliants on cotton, And then there are other crops used defoliants or desiccants, like the corn, for example. Seed corn would also be a good fit for it. So what it's machine learning, it's computer vision, it uses AI, it uses an algorithm in here. It's not just a sensor. This is more than that. It'll read the field as you go in and start adjusting the nitrogen application based on the crop needs in the field. And the operator agronomist will set the max rate for the field, and then it plays off that max rate from there. Yeah. So you have the flexibility of that. Then it uses the algorithm based off your input. And another thing it does that it will give an NDVI map of every acre it runs over. And the resolution here is 12 pixels per centimeter, so less than a millimeter per pixel. So very high res. Has a 4K camera. About every 100 yards, it'll take a red, green, blue snapshot that can be viewed later on the portal in the computer.
Help me let our viewers at home, help us understand, why is that significant? What is an NDVI going to do for them?
And how
Why
can we
would they,
use that?
why would they need it?
Right, it's a good question. It's a great indication of crop health or maybe issues in the field. It can be downloaded as a shapefile, be added to their GIS platform. Say they use,
Like topsoil or
Topsoil.
something?
yeah, exactly.
That's
There
crazy.
we go. Yeah, it could be added in there as a layer of information. It may give, with some scouting and some correlations, it may even be an indicator of some yield potential, and for sure problems. And that's another thing it does. Not only does it take the red, green, blue every 100 yards approximately, if it sees a significant deviation from the NDVI stream that's coming in, this is a stream of info, it'll take a snapshot there. So an example I like to use is a hayfield being fertilized. It's reading the hayfield, sees green, green, green. All of a sudden, it sees an area, about as big as a table over there. It's bare. It knows that's not normal, so it takes a snapshot there. Then when you look at the portal, you're going to have two sets of indicators. One orange arrows, those are the normal photos, and then red arrows, that means there's a deviation. Click on it, boom, right there's a bare spot. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you have this set up on an ATV or UTV.
Mhm.
Is this something that if you had like a pull type sprayer or some type of other application machine, is this like plug and play, this can go on any rig, or is this help us understand how?
Absolutely. It can go on. We work with Gen 4 John Deere, 2630s and John Deere's, for example, a variety of Raven products and Ag Leader products and Trimble. Some of them will be cabling specific that we'd have to look at and get some cables made for, but it'll work with the majority of monitors or VTs, virtual terminals.
So talk to me about the monitor.
The monitor is going to be whatever is in the machine, whether it's Trimble, Raven, etc.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So this system tells the monitor what to do.
Okay, so what if somebody would be using an iPad, for example? Is it app-based or?
With an iPad, I have to ask our IT department. We do have a retrofit kit that can go on some equipment without a monitor.
Okay.
Because that is more common. This company is based out of country. It's more common in their area to see some of that.
Okay.
So there
Very
are
cool.
retrofits for that.
So this is a very versatile tool with lots of different copying systems, lots of different application for equipment.
Absolutely. Yes.
So this is something really any size farm could implement very simply.
Right.
Okay.
And one of the examples we like to share is a wheat trial. It was hundreds of acres. It wasn't a little plot versus a little plot. It was hundreds and hundreds of acres. And flat rate versus variable rate. Variable rate was 7% less nitrogen and 11% more yield than the flat rate
Wow.
portion of the plot.
Okay.
And that's not a guarantee, but it's a compelling story and it shows the direction this tech can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I got to know something. You guys do a great job. We appreciate your donations being here. But are you going to let me drive that?
That's an Andrew question. He's kind of the main captain here of the
So,
Polaris.
like, maybe if I told him we can get another sandwich in the keys room.
Yeah,
I mean,
possibly.
that's
If
possible.
you could chauffeur him up there.
Well, hey, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. And look forward to later you coming out and showing us what you can do.
We will.
Awesome.
Be at the farm.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Wow. That's really interesting.
I would agree.
I think the imaging piece of precision ag is like catching up to being put into the hands of every farmer.
Well,
You
here,
know? Hi, I'm Christy Apple.
Hi, Christy. How are
Thank you
you?
for your sponsorship and participating in our show today. We're gonna get a mic close to
Is
you.
the mic check close enough?
Check the
Yeah.
mic. Here, I'm gonna hand you the mic. You have the
Oh,
honor.
there you go. I like that we're on a soil probe.
I mean, it's fitting.
Do
isn't
half
it?
the people know that it's a soil probe?
And
Or-
half the people here today most definitely do. Definitely do, but that's not something that translates into a lot of crowds. So thanks for recognizing that. What we'd like to do is offer our home viewers an opportunity to see what your company is all about. So would you just give us a few moments here of your time?
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, your company, and what your mission is.
Yeah. So my name's Josh Merriman. I work for Arable Labs, and what we have here is the Mark II. So depending on who you're talking to, it's either just a spaceship or it's also an in-crop monitoring station for in the field. So several different readings that this takes off of it. So one, I'm gonna get myself in trouble with the mic here. So on the top here, you have the ability to look at solar radiation, precipitation, and precipitation, you might ask, because you don't see a rain gauge or anything on it. It actually is able to listen to it. So based off of how the different raindrops sound on top of that, we have several different speakers underneath there that can accurately measure how much rainfall is going on there. So like I said, solar radiation, temperature, relative humidity, and then you also have a spectrometer both on the top and on the bottom here. And what that allows you to do is get a reading within your crop of how that crop is developing out there, of understanding what that growth curve looks like, how much chlorophyll is being incorporated into that crop, and really interesting, where we use this with a lot of guys out in irrigation, is get a much better understanding of what the evapotranspiration rates are occurring in that field. So looking at your full water balance between what's gone down on the field and what's really leaving through that crop.
Okay.
Some interesting other things when we're looking at row crop farmers. So every day we're able to get a leaf wetness and how many hours that leaf has been wet in that field. So understanding what that chance of having fungal development, infection occurring on into that field, and whether or not it's going to be cost effective to go out there and be spraying fungicide. When we're looking across several fields where this is deployed, so we go back even to that NDVI sensor, we can look at those curves between a field 3 miles away, 7 miles away, where we have different deployments going on, and we can see if there's differences in that curve for that crop, knowing that those differences are being caused by something going on out in the field. So maybe it's a place to go get a leaf tissue sample, a soil sample going on there, to really understand whether or not there's an error that needs to be corrected agronomically that we can still control during that season.
And you would go out and ground truth that based
Yeah.
on the GPS data coming
Yeah,
back.
basically ground truth it out.
So how does the farmer, how would the grower get the information? Do you operate off of an app or what? How does this all work?
Yep, great question. So we're very open with how our farmers can access their data. So first, we know that everybody's on the move today, right? You got to be able to have a mobile application that can give you alerts, such as if you have frost, a heat spike that's occurring out into your field, a heavy precipitation event, whether or not that device has gotten a little bit of off tilt in a heavy windstorm, and be able to manage on the ground where you're at that day.
Okay.
We also let that farmer or user go into a web portal where they can graph out multiple fields at once, really dive into that data, really look at the analytics coming off of it, and really better understand how they're going to use that data. So both that web platform, and then last, we have an open API, right? So maybe you have a different partnership that you're used to using a different system, and you just want better, accurate in-field data that's easy to look at in that other system. You can connect that with the open API and do a query off of there. Or if you're just somebody that likes playing around in Excel, hey, you can always download a CSV where you're going to be able to get into that data and really drill into it in any program that you want to.
Okay, Josh, what is, how does this go on a machine? Is this a stationary like tripod? Does it go out in the field? How does that part work?
Yeah, so I'll grab here. So this is, we actually grabbed this out. So just to talk a little bit about what we're doing with Continuum right now. We got 10 of these deployed with Continuum this year. They're looking at differences in the field of, hey, how's that growth and development look differently? My cover crop areas versus my non-cover crop ones. So basically this mounts on top of here. I could unscrew it, screw it back in, but I think you guys will get the idea. It mounts in the field within the crop, right? So different than your traditional tripod, kind of clunky weather station on the edge of the field. We want to make it simple and easy to deploy within that crop to get real field, in-field sensor work of what's going on there. So really mount it in the field. The final mounting height, we generally tell people 2 to 3 foot above where that final crop canopy is going to be. And then you're going to continue to get those sensor readings synced back to your phone once an hour, every hour.
Okay. Wow, interesting. That's very cool. So as it relates to the conversation that's been just kind of building all day long,
Yep.
where we have in some cases 3 and 4 and 5 crop species growing simultaneously, how does that, or does that play a role, or does that affect the information that comes back to this?
So you guys are very unique in the amount of crop species that we're talking about here today, which is great. I think what the biggest difference of what we would say of going on out in the field is going to be able to correlate, hey, what does my growth curves look like, right? So you guys are going to have this sensor where it can be mounted year round. So as I'm going into those different relay crops, as I'm going into the fall and looking at how my cover crop was established, I'm now going to have that ability to really understand, okay, yes, this one's taking off. Maybe this field over here where I have the sensor isn't taking off as much. Maybe I'm not seeing as high of a growth curve, and maybe one species is really struggling in one field versus the other. So really, it just gives you that year-round data experience of understanding how those different crops are growing and developing. So I don't think it's going to be any issues, any concerns. I will say you guys are unique in our users that deploy it versus some of our traditional ones, but I think it's just going to be able to add to that rich data set that everybody's looking to grab.
Sure, that's really interesting.
Well, hey, thank you so much. You know, this being light, we have somebody put these sensors out. Some of those get pretty bulky. We got to walk this field, not mess with the crop. This is nice.
Yeah,
And if you want to move it around, maybe kind of find a different sweet spot in the field. It's not hard to change calibration.
exactly. So we make it very easy that, if, hey, I wanted to test something here one year, and 3 months in, maybe that field had an issue where that's not worthwhile for me to test anymore. Hey, pick up that pole. It's going to take you 3 minutes to grab it out, move it to your new spot of the field, deploy it, and start getting your data from that different spot that you got going on.
Well, fantastic. Well, Josh, thank you so much. Glad you're here. Thank you for sponsoring.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having us. We really appreciate the work we've got to do with Continuum so far.
How was the lunch? Nice to see you.
I'm not gonna say that I had 3 hamburgers, but they were claiming there were extras.
You
So
know,
who
just
am I
asking
not
for a
to?
friend, how many burgers the guy could have had. I'd say there's a couple extra.
There was a couple extra there. So no, everything's been great. Thanks again.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks again, Josh.
Yep, thank you.
All right. So who's going to be the next set of special victims? Ooh, I forgot. Almost forgot one. That's not good. That's just because it wasn't paying
He's
attention.
also had somebody at his table, like every time we kind of try to come to visit with him.
That is
so.
true. So that is another good thing. A lot of people, what sponsorship do, how much they be seen. As you can see today, everybody's getting around. Everybody's getting around. Tons of good conversation. I say we got a lot of business. Neat the ideas to learn about as we're looking at the overall farm ROI. They can start to see what those costs might be, how that might fit.
Right. Some of the most interesting pieces of the technology, kind of expo that we're standing here right now is all about taking the information and putting it into action. Right. We heard that earlier today, and Liz Amy's so big on that. Justin Nat is so big on that. Like, let's take this data and put it into action, because data overload sometimes holds us back. Okay, what do we do with these maps now? So I really love the underlying theme of everything that's out here is about taking what we're learning from the topsoil tool, translating that into actionable decisions, actionable moments that we can make a difference for our crop person.
Right, and have that ability to do that in a topsoil cloud base anywhere. You get a cell phone. Very few of us leave home without it, unless we know then we can get our data to see what's making a measurable change. So, look, I think you freed
All
up.
right, we're coming to visit with you. How are you?
I'm good.
Look, last but not least, I promise, we kept coming by and you constantly had some.
Absolutely. We got some really cool stuff going on.
So,
Absolutely.
I'm going to hand you the famous mic here,
I remember that flash.
and I'm going to let you go home.
That's fine.
Hey, does it look a little different?
It does.
It grew up.
It's a little more trim. It looks better. I don't remember the.
Not me, the mic. I'm just kidding. I
Like, we're sharing
Awesome.
with our guests at home.
Fantastic. Yeah, so my name is Michael Morris. I'm the regional manager with Farm Flight Imagery. And of course, it all syncs into topsoil. So as soon as you log in your topsoil account, You can order the fields, you can locate stuff, and then be able to, of course, view that imagery there as well. So what we're doing at Farm Flight is we use a VTOL UAV. And a VTOL just stands for vertical takeoff and landing. So instead of a regular drone that's a fixed wing where you have to hand launch it and then it crash lands coming back in, we take off and land like a standard quadcopter. And so that allows us to not have to hand launch, watch it crash land. And then once it gets up to that certain altitude, it starts flying like a fixed wing airplane. Yeah, look, have a look there and see whatever you need to there. So when it starts flying like a fixed wing, we can fly for about 2 hours at a time, which allows us to cover generally a couple thousand acres, even at 400 feet, capturing millimeter accuracy information. So from that, we can get stand counts. We got stand counts where we go through and actually count every single plant. So it's not a snapshot across every, so many acres. It's looking at every single acre within that field boundary and counting those plants. So you get 100% accuracy, usually over 90 at least, and be able to know what's there. Moving down, we've got the pest detection, where we can look at stress in those plants. And then obviously the weed detection is another big one, where we're actually laying eyes again on that image, looking for weeds, locating them, and then also giving you that information. Again, it's that shapefile back into topsoil, where you can then get variable rate spray after that, use Rantizo's drone application to go in and target spray as well. And then the nitrogen analysis is another big one there as well. We're using the imagery, come back in and be able to variable rate our nitrogen, whether it be on corn, specialty crop, whatever, even on wheat, be able to put that nutrients right where it needs to be. So the beauty of what we're able to do again is really be able to capture a high resolution, whether it be color, thermal, vigor, NIR at a low price, at very high accuracy with a customizable schedule. So basically, if you say, I want to come in early season and start getting stand counts, but this spring we had a lot of weather move in, we weren't able to do that. We were able to push those flights back. I also have clients that do weekly flights, and that's something we can do. So it's not a standard company where you fly based on what we have scheduled. It's what the clients want scheduled on their end.
Michael, one important question I have for drone-based businesses is, if I am located in Michigan, how does that work?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, we are expanding constantly. And not only are we here in the central part of the US, we're in Mexico, we're on the West Coast. And really, you just call us, email us, text, whatever, and tell us where those fields are. And we'll get the pilot out. We've got a network of a couple hundred different pilots that we can pick from. We've got pilots that fly these drones as well, of course, in-house. So we can send out what you need, the type of imagery and data you need right there at that field.
Wow, that's incredible. In my opinion, that's been a huge barrier for people finding cost-effective drone imagery and app-friendly data that comes back as well. So
Absolutely.
I love where you're taking this, and to be able to put that in the hands of farmers who have maybe disease-sensitive crops or all of the decision process through the course of the season. So that's really great. So I think that speaks directly to how diverse this kind of a tool could be in lots of different situations, not just in the context of intercropping, cover cropping, et cetera, that we're talking about today, in all of the above. So
correct. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit with us about your business.
Thanks for everybody for logging in.
Mike, thanks for being back.
Absolutely. Always glad to be here.
It's really good to see these faces.
Yes, it is.
That tells me multiple things. One, that you see the value in it. Two, you're getting clients that are using it, and they definitely know how important this is. And she talks a lot about the ability for you to be able to get somebody into their farm.
Yes.
There's so many things that come with flying a drone, and if you do it on a large scale, licenses
Absolutely.
and to pay that employee to go out there to be able to manage it,
Yes.
bring the data back in and process it, and be usable.
Yep. There's
I
a
think
lot
it's
to
great.
it. And if it crashes, you're out that money.
Yeah.
Why not take that risk? Put somebody else in that position. Like I said, we've got the customizable schedule. So, usually our lead time is 7 to 10 days, depending on location. So as soon as that weather event comes in, say it's a hailstorm, let's go in and let's get that stand count. If we need to get nitrogen recs going on very great corn, wheat, what have you, we can also get that done in a timely manner as well.
And we can go ahead and set up programs. Let's say it's something ahead of time, and so those are some things I need to get with you guys and definitely get that locked in.
Yeah, and it can be ordered on Topsoil there as well.
Yep. So again, topsoil, guys, it's where it's at.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Michael. Great to see you again.